And next up at UFC Fight Night, Strickland taking on Hernandez. We've got Carlos Leal taking on Chidi Bang Bang.
You know what it's going to be, Chidi Bang Bang.
Bang Njokuani. Carlos, who you got in this one?
I ended up taking Carlos Leal in this one. I think both fighters like to get in the clinch. I think that, Chidi's very active with the knees and the elbows. I think the height advantage is going to be a huge problem for Leal in the clinch because Leal likes to throw knees in the clinch. I also think Chidi's knees can reach Leal's chin a lot quicker and a lot easier. And I think the fact that you're a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you like to clinch, and Chidi's going to allow you to clinch. Get that body lock, work those knees, get him against the cage, and get him to the ground. As soon as you get him to the ground, work that ground and pound. Keep your weight above him, keep him down, and I think you're going to have a lot of success. Has Leal fought like that before? He has. He has got it done, but he does like to stand. And the thing about this that makes it a little up in the air is the fact that Leal, who likes to clinch, with Chidi, who likes to clinch, doesn't move his head. And when he's striking, he's stiff and he's right in front of you. Now, he does bring some power as well that Chidi's got to watch out for, but I do think that the grappling is going to be an issue. And is he going to be able to get him down? I feel that he's going to be able to get Njokuani down to the mat and be able to control him for, a pretty good amount of time throughout the round to squeak out the decision. Don't make me look like a liar, Leal. You got to get this done. So I'm taking him, brother. Who you got?
Honestly, Carlos and I talked about this one before we broke this one down, and I got to say, this is probably one of the toughest matchups to break down on the card, in my opinion. I think it's just going to depend on which style kind of perseveres, which guy comes in with the right game plan here. And Carlos Leal, obviously a guy that likes to be very aggressive, very heavy on the forward pressure. He likes to back you up against the fence and use his grappling. He likes to get in the clinch. He likes to bully you, and sometimes he walks you down with absolute disdain. He doesn't care what comes back. He just wants to load up and land, and realistically just test his power against yours. If you kind of look at his matchups, similar idealistic matchups here in his career, he won and fought over in the PFL. No brainer that his stylistic matchup that he could show here is against Sadabusi. Sadabusi, a rangy kickboxer, 6'3", a guy that likes to be able to fight out at range. Chidi, again, very tall for the weight division, 6'3". He likes to be able to fight at range, but the difference here, I think, in this matchup compared to that matchup is Chidi Njokuani. He likes to clinch. He likes to be able to mix up knees, elbows. He has a really nice Thai boxing style. He does a nice teep up the middle as well, step in knees. A lot of weapons that Sadabusi doesn't tend to use. He's more of a kickboxer than a Thai boxer. And I think realistically this fight's going to play out in one of two ways. Either Leal's going to be able to back him up against a fence, kind of work the body lock, trip takedowns here and get Chidi down and then ultimately beat him up on the ground or sub him. Or Chidi's going to be able to catch him in the clinch because Leal is going to give him the clinch, and he's good with that Thai clinch with knees. I think it's really, really tough to call. If you want to take a flyer shot on Chidi Njokuani by knockout this week, I do not blame you. I think the odds will be good here as an underdog, but I am going to pick Carlos Leal. I do think that the grappling is going to be head and shoulders, enough to be able to get him the victory. And I do think that Sadabusi has much better takedown defense than Chidi Njokuani. I do think, though, that if you are putting Leal in parlays, I would be careful. I do think that Chidi is live for a finish here, and I would not be surprised if that happens. Leal is a guy that we saw just get knocked out in his previous fight because he didn't respect the power coming back his way in Muslim Salikov. And I do think that, he's got to be wary, especially here against a guy in Njokuani that obviously can get it done in the clinch, which is where he does his best work. So give me Carlos Leal here to get the grappling going. If he decides to stand and trade at range with a guy that's much taller, much rangier, then all bets are off. I wouldn't be surprised if Chidi gets this one done out at range or in the clinch. So Carlos Leal, be on your P's and Q's and get this one done here for me, brother.